As I was out of town this weekend, I was catching up with some old friends where I used to live, and I got a really interesting question from some people who were in the group that we'll call them normies, not familiar with Bitcoin, with crypto, with any of that kind of stuff. And someone who is actually a fairly intelligent software engineer, or so I thought, asked me a question that I thought was quite interesting and hadn't really been addressed lately when it comes to AI. And the question was, can AI hack my crypto wallet? And the short answer is yes and no. So let me explain the premise of the question and kind of briefly what we talked about. So as we were having a discussion, this person was talking to me about crypto, how I got into crypto, what I focus on. Obviously, is crypto security and the overall industry and everything that's been going on. And basically, what he wanted to know was, hey, if I set up a crypto wallet, can AI or ChatGPT help me hack it and password crack and get access to someone's Bitcoin, for example, and help me steal it? Now, I have another in-depth video plan where I'm going to go into a lot of the potential vulnerabilities that AI can pose when it comes to your crypto security. But more importantly, the basis of the question was too broad, so I narrowed it down. And I gave him a scenario, for example, like let's say that you don't have your own private non-custodial crypto wallet, and let's just say that you have a Coinbase wallet that's on the exchange and so on and so forth. In theory, yeah, AI could very easily get a hold of your 2FA, be keyloggers. There could be people that access your phone remotely, use the 2FA code and get onto your Coinbase account and try to withdraw any funds that you have on there. Now, there are some security measures built in, but if they have access to your phone and they have access to your email, then they can do the 6-digit verification codes, the 2FA codes, and Google Authenticator codes to confirm this withdrawal, and assuming that you don't catch it and get notified and try to shut it down before they do that. Now, that's an example, of course, a custodial wallet that you have with an exchange where it can happen. It's very possible. I haven't heard any cases of it yet, but theoretically, if AI has control of your phone, it's remoted in, you have someone controlling it, a hacker, that kind of thing, it could absolutely do that. Not to mention, if AI has a profile on you, it can predict pretty accurately former passwords that you've used, a likely password that you use, and hack it that way. But when you get your own non-custodial wallet, let's say, for example, like a blockchain.com wallet or a BitPay wallet or something like that, once you go through the wallet process, most of those wallets, those two specifically, it will allow you to actually get not only developing your 12 to 24 word phrase that's on it and it's generated on device, but it will also allow you to do a passphrase as well. You can also do 2FA, you can do text. It's very similar to the example I just gave using like the Coinbase analogy. And so yes, the short answer is if anything is online, such as a non-custodial wallet or a custodial wallet, things that require 2FA codes and text message codes to send and receive and to sign transactions, then yes, it's absolutely all the AI would need or a hacker would need is access to your email, your Google Authenticator, or your phone number, SMS, which is fairly easy to get when you think of what the sophistication levels are these days. But one factor that most people don't consider is the cost. And I don't just mean the monetary cost to hack someone or to do something, but the time-intensive cost it would take to train an AI, to learn models about you as a specific person, to be able to accurately guess predictable passwords from you. They would have to have a lot of data scanned by you on the dark web. And there's been some studies that a lot of people's information that has leaked onto the dark web, whether it be from like T-Mobile and AT&T, back to a few years ago with like Target and Home Depot and all of those, it's very possible. And I've been reading some reports, which I'll link down below, that have explained that if there's a big enough database and a big enough model, an AI can be trained to accurately steal your identity, to create a synthetic voice for phone verification, and basically impersonate you to steal your funds and have a hacker use AI to help aid them and reduce the amount of time it manually takes them to potentially hack you. Now, I don't think AI is at the level yet where it's super intelligence that's going to, of its own accord, try to steal your identity and gain access to your bank account funds. I mean, if anything, AI would want access to Bitcoin because it's on the internet, and there's a lot of friction between the non-internet and internet payment rails, as you guys know. So it's more likely that, for example, if someone knew your wallet address, or they knew that you had, say, one of these hot wallets on your phone, that could be very easily logged, hacked, and used against you. But you would have to be someone that has a well-known amount of Bitcoin to make it worth their while, or crypto, or whatever, or have someone that has a vendetta against you, whatever the case may be, or whatever their motivations are. But as you know, as I talk about on my other channel a lot, the crypto hardware wallet is the best option to mitigate this, because even if you have a hacker or you have an AI, they're only going to have access to everything that's online. They're not going to have access to your offline physical wallet. So in the case of, like, for example, my favorite air-gapped hardware wallet, the Engrave Zero, it's not connected to the internet. Everything is done through QR codes. Everything is done completely wirelessly and completely offline. So even if they did, for example, an AI was able to guess my 8-digit PIN, and they were able to guess my passphrase, because it's inherently online, they don't have access to my physical offline device, which is needed to sign and send a transaction, which is where the private key is stored. Your private key on a hot wallet, non-custodial wallet, exchange wallet, that's all online, and therefore you don't truly own it. You truly own it when only you can access it because of how you've protected yourself. Now, again, my personal favorite is the Engrave Zero. I have a lot of videos explaining why and going into depth, and I'll link those below if you want to check those out. And there's a link in the description if you want to get that. But basically, having an air-gapped crypto hardware wallet is the best option that you could possibly have. Now, you can also get like a wired or USB hardware wallet, or a Bluetooth hardware wallet. Those have some vulnerabilities, but are still much better than having an online or a non-custodial, any type of hot wallet, warm wallet, anything of that. Cold storage, whether it be a hardware wallet or whether it be a metal recovery seed device or plate or graphene or what have you, those are truly the best ways to protect your private key, because even if AI can guess all the other things that they can do, including social engineering, faking your voice, authenticating you with all your codes, your email, your SMS, all of that stuff, if it's stored offline, then you have nothing to worry about. That's your fail-safe. It's the bridge between the digital and the non-digital, and basically is that extra layer of security where, unless AI can be manifest into like a humanoid robot that can physically come and take over your hardware wallet, assuming they know where it is and how to gain access to it. I mean, anything short of that, which I guess theoretically is possible in the future, but as of today, that's simply just not possible, which is why, it's just another reason among several, why I recommend having a hardware wallet to store your crypto offline. AI is proving to be extremely powerful and could be a huge threat in the future. Again, two big use cases that we've already heard of are social engineering, identity theft, and completely using a synthetic version of your voice, whether it be calling your bank, whether it be calling somewhere that requires you to answer security questions, or for you to verify your identity. AI can do that now. They might even be able to do it over a video call where they can make a replica of your face. I mean, things are getting wild these days. And so when you're focusing on security, you always want to have a second factor or a third factor that requires you as a human, and something that an AI can't produce, which in this case would be a physical wallet. Now, if you use something like the Trezor Safe 3, also linked down below, or if you use something like a Keystone Pro 3, or if you use like a card-based wallet, that SecuX Shield Bio, or something that uses Bluetooth, they're cold wallets, but they connect online through Bluetooth and through wires, and then they're offline if you unplug them, which is good. So that limits the attack vector based on how long you keep it online. But either way, if you have all your private keys, which is the access to all your crypto, all your NFTs, all your digital assets, as long as you have access to that and it's stored offline, obviously you connect it online. When you confirm and sign a transaction, it broadcasts to the blockchain, and then that's it. But when we're talking about security and storage of those private keys, it is so imperative, especially now with AI, that you keep those offline, stored at all times. Even if you're a trader, even if you're someone that thinks that nothing will happen, it doesn't matter, because there's only a finite number of crypto in the world, specifically when we're talking about Bitcoin. And I have another video coming up pretty soon that's interesting, that goes into some details of how many Bitcoin were actually lost. But we'll get to that later in the week with the future video. But the point is if your crypto, say you have a Bitcoin on Coinbase, if it gets hacked and it gets stolen, you don't get reimbursed 1 Bitcoin. You get reimbursed the cash equivalent of that Bitcoin at the time it was stolen. So in theory, you're not actually being guaranteed anything, and that's in a best case scenario. The point is when you're dealing with a finite asset, you're not guaranteed to be reimbursed that same asset because it's more scarce and it's harder to come by. And if you read the terms of service, which I actually did on these exchanges, they're not required to do anything for you. You basically waive all of your rights by giving them sole custody of your private keys and your crypto and your management. So be careful where you store your crypto, how you store your crypto. AI is becoming increasingly more sophisticated, and I've seen some models that are very scary and accurate. Like they're already doing AI videos and voices of like President Trump and Scarlett Johansson, and like really accurate and scary. It's almost indistinguishable from the real thing. And when you get into things like that, it's the social engineering and the phishing part of things that people are going to be susceptible to, because it's virtually, there's no way to know who's real and what's not unless you verify through other means. But a lot of people are lazy or just overlook it, are going to have lots of problem, I think, with crypto theft specifically, because that's going to be a lot easier to get away with, in my mind, than it would be to try to access someone's bank account and drain it. And they have insurance and stuff, so yeah, it would be a hassle, but at the same time, it really, if I was utilizing AI and if I was a hacker, I'd be going after your crypto private keys or your NFTs or any of your digital assets over getting access to your bank account or trying to move money that way, because it's simply just, there's a lot more hoops to jump through, and not to mention the potential legal consequences and being found and traced and so on and so forth. So just be careful, guys. And just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview of what I kind of discussed with this engineer about AI and crypto wallets and the distinguishing between online and offline storage and how you protect that private key. Not telling your friends, not telling your family, not telling someone that you don't necessarily trust. And it's quite interesting. So be safe out there. Store your private keys offline. If you don't already have a hardware wallet, check the link in the description. My 2 favorite ones that I personally use. At this point, just make sure that you're vigilant, because AI can theoretically hack your wallet through these means that we discussed about. But if you are having those private keys stored offline, you're in a much better position. And they're going to have to physically find a way, get your device in their hands to extract that private key, whether it be a $5 wrench attack or some other means of coercion. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think AI is going to be something that really impacts crypto security moving forward? It's something I've been studying and looking into very closely, and just seeing how there's been other scams and phishing and social engineering attempts that have already been happening outside of crypto. I can only assume that crypto is the biggest honeypot that they're going to go after. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here, guys. If you have not liked or subscribed to the new channel, please do so. I would appreciate it. And then if you don't want to wait for my next video, click on the screen right here to see it. And until next time, Crypto Renegade out.